Great. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Bob Wang, and I'm the country manager for Greater China and the Korea region at Permatic. And with me today is our dearest partner and a guest speaker, Mr. Sean Lee. So Sean, could you introduce yourself and your company, please?
Okay, so hi everyone. My name is Sean, and I manage overall ad monetization at 딜라이트룸, an app developer for Alarmy. I'm super excited to be here at MGS and participate in this fireside chat by PubMatic. For those of you who may not have heard of Alarmy yet, it's a global top alarm app. It's funny that I say myself, but it's a top alarm app, and we wake up 2.3 million users every day, every morning. And many people ask how just an alarm app can succeed in the global market, while even our just mobile devices also provide alarm features, right? Well, it's fairly simple. We solve a simple but a very important problem of getting back to sleep after dismissing the alarm, which I'm pretty sure many of you also have experienced in the morning before. So this is something really critical for the users, because these kind of problems can cause people to be late to their school, appointments, and work. So we define these people as heavy sleepers, and the cause of this problem is not because they're lazy or they're weak-willed people, right? It's not exactly their fault. It's just because there's chances for everyone in this room also as well to have a really bad condition in the morning, and just not being able to wake up. So every night people just struggle to set their alarms, and in the morning they fight back again, ironically, not to wake up, right? So we try to fix these kind of problems by helping our users get a better quality sleep at night, and in the morning we help them really listen to the alarm and just wake up completely and fully. So this is our goal, and our ultimate goal is to help these users wake up fully in the morning.
Right, that sounds really great. I mean, just to think about your missions to wake people properly and have a great morning to start with on the daily life is right. So personally, for me, I think before using Alarmy, I do have the experiences of missing flights. But luckily enough, with the Alarmy service, I didn't miss mine. Yesterday going to this event, obviously. So I think that's definitely generating a lot of value for the end users. But if we zoom out a little bit and to think about not only for one apps or specific apps mission, but to talk about mobile app industry. So Sean, really a question is that how has the mobile app industry developing for the last 2 years in Korea market, and do you see any difference comparing this market with the other markets worldwide, please?
So I guess the last 2 years has been really harsh in the Korean industry for the app developers, regardless of gaming or non-gaming business. Many startup companies had to cut down their expenses, and obviously marketing budget was the first to be affected by these kind of changes. So, and which also led to decrease in ad revenue of app publishers as well. So now the app publishers, they just must try really, really hard, much harder, to earn ad revenue. And it requires better ad quality, powerful ad placements, integration with many more ad networks, and a lot of optimizations. One of the interesting changes that I recently noticed is that many publishers who didn't used to consider ad monetization before are actually adopting ad monetization nowadays and making revenue to survive. So this is actually because the investment for the publishers in the market has also decreased. Yeah. But however, things are, I think, better for the global market and for the global publishers as well, because we are seeing a growth in the performance in the US and Europe. So I guess expanding your services to global could be also one of the ways to raise your revenues.
Sure, definitely. Great insight, Sean, and the challenge you've observed, I think, applies to many mobile app publishers as well. Some from PubMatic's perspective and our observation, it also occurs to us that historically a lot of publishers were not even considering for ad monetization, but now they are adding ads into their apps. At the same time, there were publishers who were only working with 2 or 3 platforms for the entire ad monetization. But for the recent years, they've started to use mediation platforms to manage tens of ad networks. So on the purpose to increase the total ad revenue generated, right? So with that as a context, so just want to ask a follow-up question to you for your business as well. Is Sean, how does 딜라이트룸's business doing so far for the progress of 2024? Is there any thing, any plan change for H2 given their H1 performance, please?
So, well, yes. I guess we made a lot of plans in the beginning of the year, and there has been a lot of changes.
Yeah.
And one of the plans I had in the beginning of the year is that I would not speak on stage. That was one of the plans.
Right.
But here we are, speaking here in the fireside chat. So I guess that's one plan that's changed.
Yeah.
We had some other plans as well, both business and product-wise. We had a lot of plans, but they also changed as well as the situations changed, and we needed to make a lot of adjustments. So business-wise, we had our plans on ad monetization in Alarmy minimized in the beginning of the year, but as the ECPM, the price we get for the ads, quite dramatically decreased in the first quarter. We changed our plans, and we had to increase the ad impression volume because the price went down, so we have to make a lot of more volumes to recover the revenue.
Yeah.
And so we immediately increased ad impression immediately through the various adjustments. And also we worked on adding more demands from the advertiser sides so that we can have the ECPM back on track. So as a result of the changes, and which was a good change, we were not only able to recover the revenue, but we also increased revenue in iOS especially by 20%.
Well, 20%, that's definitely a fantastic result, and congratulations for the achievement for sure. Right, so revenue aside, maybe I think we can switch gears a little bit and look into the Alarmy's services as well. I think what makes Alarmy different is that Alarmy is a very innovative, like freemium app. So how did your team come up with ideas for premium features which generate a lot of added values for your users, please?
So I guess I must say that it's all about solving users' problems, and that's where the ideas come from. Although I'm very confident that our free features are powerful enough to wake users up completely, especially in the early stages of using our app. But the problem here is that the users actually adapt to the free features, and eventually, they go back to sleep again one day. So, for example, the calculation skills of the users using the math missions improve every day, and it doesn't fully wake them up anymore one day. So it's actually great to have our users' calculation skills increase, but it's not exactly the purpose of our app, right? So that's one of the problems that we can face through this. So just a second.
Yep.
So for such reasons, there also was a user who solves 99 math problems every day to wake up, 99 problems. And as much time that it would take for this user and imagining like how painful it could be, we figured that we needed to provide more powerful missions to the users who so that they can't adapt to the features, as well as adding some more additional features other than the mission alarms. So that's why we released premium missions, such as typing missions, in which you have to type in like motivational phrases. And we also added like walking missions, which actually tracks the number of steps that you walk. Squat missions, which tracks the number of squats that you complete. And we also released like additional features such as like label reminder, which reads you the label you have in the alarm every day. Right. And we also have this feature called like wake up check. So it actually checks whether you are like really awake. And if it seems that you are back on sleep, then the alarm goes off again, and so does your lovely missions as well. And we also take the voice of users very seriously, and it's really important to like listen to the voices of users because they often give you like great ideas of the features that you must have. So one of the great ideas we earned from our user is that it's a multiple mission, allowing users to create an alarm with a set of missions in different types, such as like typing one motivational phrase and then doing 10 rounds of squats. So it actually helps you wake up helps you wake your brain and body up. Right. And the users like literally sent us the emails that they are willing to pay for this feature. So we were actually happy to provide them the features, and we actually helped their wishes come true. And it was a win-win for both of us.
Well, it sounds lovely, and really that's really creative ideas and high engagement with the users. It's just amazing receiving emails like users would like to pay. So that actually go very hand in hand with my follow-up question here. Really quick on the premium features is that you have the premium features now. So how you balance the business models of user subscription together with ad monetization, and which one is your focus of your app, please?
So for that question, I must say both is important for us, but I guess I have to put a little more weight on ad monetization, simply because not every users in the world can pay for subscription of an alarm app, and our goal is to make more and more users use Alarmy and actually wake up in the morning and have a more successful morning. Right. So that's regardless of their willingness to pay. So that's the reason why. I guess the balance of the business model could be different for every app, and I think the key here is how much you know about your users, their age, their ability to pay, your app quality to increase their willingness to pay and more.
Right.
So unless you have a team that has the patience, the time, and the money to like create a high quality app, and also have a strong confidence on targeting the right users from the beginning with the features on the right value, I really recommend that you start your app with MVP model and have minimum ad monetization in the beginning.
Right.
Study your users, add more values, and then start considering subscription model as your product and business grows.
Yeah.
And once your app business has reached a certain level of having a high quality features and enough users to make purchases, that's when you should start reducing ad monetization and also put more weight on subscription.
Right.
So that's kind of the balance there.
Yeah.
And I guess there's also other ways of like adding in more value, such as one of the interesting ways that we could have an example is Netflix model. And I'm sure all of you here in the room uses Netflix. Yeah. Starting as a premium app, which Netflix has, the subscription and adding ad monetization. So I found the recent success of Netflix with the ad monetization very interesting, because Netflix has has highly increased their MAU by providing standard with ads,
right.
The new subscription model, which have not only added the ad revenue, but also increased subscription revenue, because they had much more users subscribing to this subscription model.
Yeah. I agree a lot, on what you just said, Sean, and I think it's a great point, especially when it comes to balancing the business model. What's really key is to understand and know your users. So I think you made a great point in saying that not every app is the same, so it can be different. When you are choosing their business model, but I think you also mentioned that it's not possible for every user for pay for app services. I do believe that is very, very key. So in terms of those non-paid users or free users, then ad monetization is definitely very important for any app developer to get money back, so they can continue to invest in their services. And in those kind of the situations, I think the experience with ads is also very, very important. For example, the branding as focused platforms can help the app publishers to increase their session time each time using an app, or the total in-app uses time. So that actually in line with my next question here is that Sean, when did you start to work with platforms such as PubMatic, who is focusing on branding ads, and why, please?
So working in the ad monetization side, we always seek for new partners. We co-work with a lot of platforms. And so we are always seeking for the new ones. And there was an insight shared in the market that brand ads could be a great incremental revenue source in diversifying the revenue stream, and also in improving the ad experience of the app users. So as we care really a lot about the app users as well, we've known PubMatic to have a lot of brand demands, and that's why we planned on testing and also integrating so that we can start to work together.
Sure, appreciate it a lot, and guess for that part I can really add a couple of things here. To the audience here on the versus branding ads versus performance ads or user acquisition campaigns. I know a lot of marketers here is focusing a lot on in-app user acquisition. But if we think about from the publisher's perspective, what matters is that really increase the size of the monetization cake. So if we think about the budgets as a whole for advertising, and user acquisition is a very big piece of a pie. It's a very big cake already. So consider it's a 9-inch cake. However, adding branding dollars into it is basically enlarge that cake to 12-cent cake. So it's easier to cut a bigger piece of a pie if you're adding, branding dollars in for that. And then when we're looking at the asks for the branding advertisers, their needs are quite different with the performance or just high conversion advertisers. So they are more user friendly, focusing on impression. Normally, these not so much of a CTR, so that's a less opportunity for any mobile app user to jump out of the original user experience like in Alarmy. So they don't have to, see an ad and then jump into an app store and then download another app, basically for making money for the original app, but just see a few ads and the money is already in the pocket. And last but not least, I think if we think about the branding as the difference with the performance ads is that really diversify the performance on different ad placement, including, for example, banner ads. That is not actually a focus. A lot of the platforms focusing so much on user acquisition and performance driven. However, branding platforms can really diversify and perform really well in those ad placements. So that's just one to add 50 cents to your answer that, maybe that's some of the reasons you choose to work with, new platforms, I guess.
Yes, so I guess that's really interesting point that we can add new revenue stream and also increase user experiences using brand ads.
Yeah, appreciate it. So, but I'm pretty sure that the audience here is more interested or prefer to hear more from you. So I won't, talk too much about PubMatic services. But for the next two questions, I think perhaps we can differ a little bit and to look into the future. So and also hear from your sharing about the challenges right now. So what do you think, Sean, are the challenges you are facing with ad monetization today, and how you are going to solve those challenges?
So I think every day is a challenge that we face. Every day we go to work and see the ad revenue performances. That's a challenge. But I believe that one of the biggest challenges in the ad monetization is increasing ad revenue without impacting on user experience. So I guess I'm pretty sure everyone will agree to that. And it's been a real challenge for us as well, which is why we always test for changes in ad monetization and take a real close look into the user data. Not only the retention, but many more, like that relates to the overall usage of our app. And I think the key here is that you always have to provide the equivalent or higher amount of value to users in return to showing them ads. For example, adding interstitial ad placement in Alarmy has been a big wish of mine for a long time. Not just for the revenue, but I wanted to see the potential of adding a new ad format we couldn't try before. However, it was really hard for an alarm app to provide equivalent value of interstitial ads that shows full screen video for 5 seconds. Right. So recently, we finally managed to add interstitial ad placements, and this is how the scenario goes. because users at Alarmy snooze their alarms 5 times in average every day. But this delays the time the users wake up, right? And this is not something that we want to recommend users to do so. So what we did was we changed the default settings of the snooze limits, which was originally unlimited, but we changed it to 3 times. And then for the users who may want to snooze more than 3 times, we allowed the users to we allowed the users 1 extra time to snooze their alarms, but instead they have to see an interstitial ads. So that was one of the tricks that we did. And the users were not really very annoyed by the ad because they can snooze alarm 1 last time, which they really wanted to in the morning because they're stressful. And when they really wanted to. And for those users who may be a little annoyed, that was fine for us as well because this feature was also meant to send them a message that we don't recommend this kind of behavior of the users of snoozing every morning, right? So yes, we could send them the message. So as a result, the users mostly appreciated this feature and also like fully understood the purpose of why we are providing such things. And they had a very few negative comments in user voices. You can never have 0, but very few is a good good performance, and had no impact in the retention as well. So it was an ending as a success.
Yeah, fantastic to hear, and that's really a great example of designing an ad placement within a product with a high consideration of adding, value to the users, right? So it's eventually a very great result. So great to hear all the insights and sharing so far, Sean. So I'm thinking about maybe we look ahead a little bit. So that will be the focus of the next 2 questions. And the first one, let's start from privacy. As the privacy policies evolves at a global scale, is there any impact to your monetization revenue for now? And what is your strategy towards the privacy changes going forward, please?
So I think privacy policy is something that we have more impact for the global publishers rather than the ones just focusing in Korea.
Sure.
Because there are much more privacy policies happening in global wise.
Yeah.
So it has huge impacts on ad monetization side as well. Simply because it limits you from getting users' audience data.
Yeah.
And this leads to the decrease in the marketing budgets that you can receive.
True.
So however, we were able to minimize the damage by quickly adopting the privacy policies in advance, spending much effort in making users allow our app to collect their audience data and showing them targeting ads. So for example, we have a 94.3% of consent rate for GDPR, which applies to Europe, which is much higher than the market average of 86% consent rate.
So fully agree with your point here, Sean. The key is really to plan and act proactively, on a global scale, into a certain market for the policies and looking into how the change to minimize and mitigate or the impact on ad monetization. And the practice is caused by like leading platforms or can be making changes in the coming years as well. I think the recent update we heard from the privacy sandbox update made the access to GDPR kind of in question for next year. But I think that's definitely one topic for every mobile publishers to basically keep a close eye on, because next year I think there's going to be some change, right? So the recent development is that there's a little bit flip-flop, so we don't know for sure, but I think definitely an area to look into. So I guess, Sean, I guess maybe it's time for kind of one last question here, because we've been talking about future. What is your outlook for the next 3 years in terms of the mobile app business? And please, if you may, do you have any advice given to the audience today or given to the mobile app community, please? Sure.
So I guess you've already mentioned about the privacy sandbox, which was actually planned this year, but it's delayed. Hopefully, we're hoping that it will be delayed again next year. But So one of the other changes that we are seeing a lot recently in the market today is that the generative AI is a really hot thing here.
Right.
And not just the ChatGPT, but the other generative AI is also impacting the app publishers industry a lot. So what we're seeing is that there are a lot of apps created from the generative AI and adding up to the added to the App Store recently.
Sure.
And even my non-engineer based friends are like creating their own apps.
Right.
So yeah,
Yeah.
I've been hearing a lot from them. And in the next 3 years, I think I'm quite sure that these changes will just go on, and there will be a lot of much more apps, and it will make users have much higher standard on choosing what apps they want to use. So either you choose to go along with the trend or not. The app publishers will have to provide like differentiated value, much stronger features to the users, and I believe that it involves some human touch in solving people's problem.
Right.
So I think that's something that AI just might not be like able to fully solve itself. So I think that's where the focus is on. So in Alarmy and 딜라이트룸 will solve people's wellness problem for sleeping at night, from sleeping at night to waking up in the morning, using human and AI powers.
Right.
So I hope the app publishers here in the audience here today will also find their own way to solve people's problem as well. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Sean. I think it's all about solving people's need or fixing the problem. So I think at PubMatic as a vendor or service we provide is all about solving our partners' needs or solving their problems. So we will be continuously focusing on optimizing the ad revenue generated and the ad experience. So helping our partner to addressing their needs while they focusing or like companies like you focusing on generating value or solving issues for your users. So I think that's basically summarizes today. And again, thank you so much, to share with us today, Sean, for your time. I guess to the audience here, maybe if you may spend the next 5 seconds to scan a QR code. We'll be putting a QR code on stage to follow up a little bit on PubMatic if you are interested. But that concludes the session today. And thank you so much again, Sean, for your time.
Thank you.
And thank you for your time as well.